Okay, you got your 6-shooter, single action, and let's say that you got in a defense situation where you fired all 5 rounds, or 6 or whatever. And what you're going to do is you're going to decide to fight back, and you're going to do it with 2s, and I'm going to show you how you do that, why 2s are better than loading all of them. You're going to start by not using this, but using your fingernail right here. You're going to make sure that the 22 cartridge you put in is a brand name or a type that isn't going to stick. So it's going to come out easy. That's the brand you want to use as the type that's going to come out easy. You want to make sure that this cylinder, all the chambers are clean. Okay, so that's important as well. So here's the scenario. And you're going to leave the gate open, by the way, too. The reason why you can leave the gate open is because you're not going to jam anything up, because you're only loading 2. Now, if you were loading 3, one empty shell would come down here and catch right here, possibly. So if you're just going by 2s, it's going to be much better. And 2s is much quicker than loading all 6 or 5 or whatever you're loading. So here we go. We're at cover right now. Let's say that we used all 5 or 6. We should have saved 1 for cover, but let's say that we shot them all anyway. So here we go. All right, so assume I plucked out 2 rounds, okay? I'm going to replace the 2 rounds with 2 new ones, so I'm going to put in 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 3. 1, 2, 3. Leave the gate open. Fire the first round. Fire the second round. Half cock. Pluck out the first round. Pluck out the second round. Reload. 1, 2. Count 3. 1, 2, 3. Fire the first round. Fire the second round. Half cock. Pluck them out. Now, here's the thing. If we would have done this loading 3, then what could happen to us is, if we were loading 3, is by the time we fired that 3, there's going to be an empty shell down here that's going to come around again. So if you just go by 2s, you can get into action a lot quicker, even though it's less rounds. So you know what I'm saying? So even though you don't have a full cylinder, these are the chambers, by the way. The cylinder is the whole unit right here. Even though you don't have a full cylinder and you're loading just 1 or 2, you can get back in action much quicker. So you can respond much better. So for example, if I go 1, 2, count 1, 2, 3, okay? I don't have to close the gate, but if you want to, you can, depending on your situation. I can fire 2 shots, open the gate, half cock. So you want to check your single action if you can leave the gate open. The reason why you can leave the gate open with this is because when the 2 fired rounds come around, they're not going to be going into here and getting snagged right here. Because what happens sometimes is, if you hold the gun like this or something, what could happen is by the time it gets down here, it could snag right there. And that's what the gate does. It keeps it so it's not going to back up here and get snagged right here. So if you go by 2s, you're much better. So if I go 1, 2, count 3, fire, fire, half cock, unload, then I'm much better that way. Now, if you have time, obviously, yes, you're at cover, but there's no immediate threat, then you can throw all 5 in, or all 6 if you want. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. Now, when it comes to loading this thing and carrying it, there's 3 ways you can do it. The first way is you got all 6 in, half cock, but then the hammer could come forward, so you don't want that. The second way is you got 5 rounds in here, but one of the chambers and the cylinder is empty, so if the hammer gets hit, then it's not going to set off a round, okay? And then the third way is the hammer is going to be all the way forward, and there's going to be nothing in that chamber right there. So let me show you the two ways of loading for that. The first way is for new people. What you're going to do is you're going to count 5 because you got a 6-shooter. You're going to put in all 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Look for the hole. The hole equals 4. So just remember, E equals 4. E equals 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cock, lower, and visually inspect, or a piece of paper in there to make sure that there's no cartridge in there. So let me show you the cowboy way, or the old man's way here. This is how they used to do it. It's called the load one, skip one method. Like I said, you got a 6-shooter, so you're only going to grab 5 rounds. You're going to load 1, skip 1, load the rest. And when you get to that last one, what you're going to do is you're simply going to close the gate, cock it, lower the hammer. Now, when you lower the hammer, you want to make sure that you hold the hammer with your thumb really hard as you're pulling the trigger there. So you'll look and you can see right here that method too, same thing. There's nothing, the firing pin isn't touching anything. So anyway, I hope you understand how single actions can work for you in different ways, whether you're carrying, whether you're trying to defend yourself and stuff like that. Now, the extra ammo you can carry, there's a lot of ways you can carry extra ammo so that you can grab 2, 3 at a time. You can have like a pouch, you can have a bandolier. They do sell 22 bandoliers you can wear on your belt. So a pouch, a bandolier, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different ways you can carry ammunition for this. And the good news about this is if you're carrying 22 short, like in a leather pouch like I do, I can have 200 rounds of 22 short to go with this. Everywhere I go, I have 200 rounds. Now, I'm just talking about, say, like a day where you want to go to a range or you're out in the woods and you want to carry something like this just for fun. Let's say that this is all you had on you and something happened. Then at least not only do you have your 5 shots that are in here, but you have the 200 round pouch. You can grab a couple at a time, defend yourself and stuff like that. So will the single action 22 get the job done? It can, if you know your tactics and you train with it. So it's not saying that you're going to lose, a self-defense situation just because you have a single action 22. A lot of that has to do with your tactics and how you use cover. And the other thing we have to remember is we're not comparing this with law enforcement or military. This is a private citizen situation, which means that if I had something like this and I fired 1 shot or no shots at all and the bad guys run, then I have no duty as a citizen to arrest that person and to chase them, which would require much more ammunition than what I have here. So that's one of the concepts a lot of people forget, even the experts, is they forget that there is a big difference between a private citizen, military, law enforcement. Now, if you have a situation where you want to be a sheepdog, that's up to you, okay? But a private citizen only needs to take cover, defend themselves. They're not responsible for anybody else, okay? I believe everybody should get their permit. So there's a lot of people that say, thank God you have your permit because I'm safe. You should tell them, it's nice to know that, but you need to get your own permit. So everybody needs their own weapon, okay? You don't, as a bear, you don't go to another bear and say, well, thank God you got claws because now I don't need claws. No, you need your own set of claws. You need your own self-defense. I don't care what it is, whether it's a knife, pepper spray, something. You need something with you, okay? And the good thing about blades is they don't run out of ammunition, okay? Which means you keep using that blade however you have to do it to survive. And it's not going to jam. It's not going to run out of ammunition like a firearm. So in those close quarters combat situations, like where you're within, say, like 3 to 5 yards, actually a firearm sometimes or many times could be a loser if the guy really knows what he's doing with the knife. So you have to remember that. And martial arts and stuff like that, they can overwhelm you in a close distance. So the gun isn't the end all be all. And that's one of the reasons why I do have a little 3-inch blade that I carry appendix, or I carry a knife on my left side. So if you guys, like the antique stuff and you like to conceal carry for fun or steampunk or whatever, make sure that you have this, and then you have, say, like pepper spray or some knife mounted on your left side that you can get to really quickly, like a fixed blade where you can just pull it out quickly. And then obviously the other thing is you can use this as a weapon too. You can use it as a hammer, a blunt force object or whatever. You can use it for pushing in like the stomach area. If you push hard enough and fast enough like that, you could get somebody's stomach and you could stun them to the point where they're not going to fight anymore, or at least give you a few seconds, you can get the hell out of there. So I'm just telling you, these guns are all metal. That's where metal comes in, as metal can be a fighting object itself, even if it doesn't fire anything. So, but anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video.